Okay, you can see this rook over here. So we are going to learn about the rook and yep, how the rook moves. Yes, that too. As you can see, its shape looks like a tower or a castle. Wait, what? No, it's not called a castle or a tower either. It's called a rook. If you are a strong player, it's called a rook. The rook moves like a straight. It moves in a straight lines, left, right, up, and down. Let me highlight this rook. These are all the squares that this rook can move. Sorry, it the rook can move to all of these squares. Let's count them together. So here is the first one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So the rook covers 14 squares right now. Some kids may think like, isn't this square also controlled by the rook? No, because that would be crazy. The rook is literally sitting on the top of that square. So no, the rook is not controlling that square, but it is on that square. So there are 14 squares controlled by the rook here. Let's take this pawn for instance. The rook covers all of these squares like it's normal, but it cannot jump. It cannot jump. It can capture this pawn though by moving towards the pawn square and landing on top of it, and the pawn gets off the board. Simple chess. So here white can white can move the king here, 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 and here. Um, like the king moves. But there's a special move named as castling, where you can move the king two squares, one and two squares, and here also one and two squares in either side, king side or queen side. Let's say uh, we can castle by moving the king two squares and uh, by putting the rook here. That's called castling. While online chess allows you to move the king two squares and and the rook is put automatically there. Like see here, I'm loading the position. So here I move my king one two squares and it gets castled. Or like I said, it can be castled queen side. So one and two, it gets castled. Don't get confused because in the queen side there are three squares of gap, while in the king side there are only two squares of gap. So you may be thinking, what? The rook here is moving three squares and the rook here is moving only two squares. That's a bit confusing, I guess, for many kids. But remember that for castling, the king only and only moves two squares, not one and not three. Now, let's talk about another major concept, that is the files and the ranks. Let's put this rook again here on this e4. Okay, and some people might think that what are these 8, 7, 6 till 1, and what are these a n h, what are these letters and numbers actually? So let me tell you that these numbers uh, ranging from 1 to 8 coming all the way down over here, um, sorry, coming all the way down till 5, 4, 3, 2, and so on and 1. So, like I have highlighted all of these arrows. I've drawn these arrows. These squares on each row or horizontal row, whatever you say, these rows in chess are called ranks. So, if you want to say that this rook here, uh, it is on the fourth rank. Okay, it's on the fourth row, and these these vertical columns you can see here. Yep, yep. These vertical columns ranging from number 8 to 1, um, not uh, 8 to 1, but they they have the letters A to H. Like the columns ranging from up and down, they are all known as files. It's very common because you may be thinking like, why are we learning these concepts when we are studying the rook? Because the rook, uh, you can see it controls straight lines, right? So it is an important concept because uh, as you can see here, the rook covers the fourth rank and the E file. It covers both of them. So um, that's why it is a necessary concept when we are studying the rook. So as we have completed the concept, we are going to do a free maze for you. So that that shows you that if you have learned the rook's concepts or not. Okay, so here in this position, I have a challenge for you. The rook should capture each of these pawns at the white's first move. Like at each move, it should capture at least one pawn. Or if not, you lose. I'll give you 40 seconds for you to solve it. Okay, so that's 40 seconds. And for your answer, let's go. We'll find out together if you haven't figured it out yet. So the first thing we'll do is just capture the pawn. Okay, alright. We just capture this pawn. That's easy. But now here comes the trick. Which pawn should you capture? This pawn or this pawn? The pawn on the B file or on the H file? It's a hard decision. And sometimes you even mess it up. Because let's say you capture this pawn. Now there are again two options. Okay, there are again two options. If you choose this one, then you capture this, then you capture this. Now there's again another choice. You capture this. In either of the ways, you lose. Like let's put the pawn again here. If you capture this pawn again, you cannot capture any other pawn on the next move. And let's say, um, we put the pawn here. Let's go back again. If you capture this and then this, we are stuck again. So we will take this pawn. Of course, we'll do. Then let's go. Let's check the other thing. I'll draw arrow for to erase your confusion. This way also won't work. This way also won't work because let me just draw arrows for you. This way won't work. So the correct decision I said was this, the one with the blue arrow that I capture. Then you capture this one. Then you capture this. Now there's another more choice. Which pawn should you capture? Okay, if you guessed it right, congrats. You should capture this pawn. Now let me say why is this wrong? Because you capture this, then you get two choices. If you capture this, too bad, you won't get another one. So now uh, there is another way of correcting this. I tricked you though. Which one should you capture here now? Okay, you should capture this pawn. And why is this not correct? Because um, in either of the ways you lose. I already told you that one because there's no follow up. So you'll capture this, this, and this. Now what's the follow up? Nothing. Um, let's go back again. Here, 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 here. Now this is correct because here, and here you win all the pawns. But there's another way to do it. I hope you found it. Here, 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 and here. You win the pawns in both ways. Okay, did you realize something? That in this specific position, there are actually more pawns than it should have in a typical chess game. Let's count together. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, 9 and 10. There are 10 pawns. And a normal game, which is here, has only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 pawns for each color. Though there were 10 pawns to make it more exciting, I guess. Thank you for watching our chess lesson on how the rook moves, and we'll meet you in the next episode. Don't forget to try the rook, using the rook in your games, and you'll be a high elo player and a rook master. Thank you.